the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the...
Oh, hey guys, what's going on? It's Massive Joes Raw Review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome Raw review for the viewers at home today on one of the most stacked stim-free pre-workout formulas ever created from our good friends at Hosstile. It is, of course, BLOODSHOT in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. The nutritional information panel on this tub ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go deep in this Hosstile BLOODSHOT. Luckily, big ass nutritional information panel appearing on screen for you guys at the moment, so you can play along. Starting from the top, we've got 40 scoops per tub. A serving size is 2 rounded scoops, which weighs 32 grams, and we've got 22 rounded scoop serves in each and every Hosstile BLOODSHOT tub. So there's 40 scoops in there. You got to put two rounded scoops to get you a full serve, and there's 20 of those full serves per tub. 32 grams in a full 2 rounded scoop serve of what, if we go through and we do a quick addition of the active ingredients, there's 13 active ingredients, viewers at home, 25.723 total grams of active ingredients, which means we're dealing with about 80% active ingredients and only 20% non-actives, which is going to be made up of flavors and sweeteners and stabilizers and colors and all those other bits and pieces that aren't actually going to help you perform during your workouts, but are necessary nonetheless. I will point out that in BLOODSHOT, Hosstile do not use any artificial colors or dyes. It is naturally colored. There are artificial and natural flavors and sweeteners in there, however. In terms of what the 13 active ingredients are made up of, guys, as always, a link is in the description box to our Supplement Simplified articles where you can take a deep dive into each of the ingredients that I'm about to mention. But what I want to do, as always, with stim-free pre-workouts is go through the 4 main effects that we look for in complete stim-free pre-workouts and see how this BLOODSHOT formula stacks up ingredient by ingredient. So those 4 effects are muscle pumps and improved blood flow, in particular, increasing nitric oxide production. Effect number 2 is muscle power and strength. Effect number 3 is muscular endurance. And effect number 4 is our nootropic effects, the increase in mental focus and the elevation in mood and feeling of well-being as well. Let's go through them one by one, starting with muscle pumps, improved blood flow, increase in nitric oxide. Woo! All right. L-citrulline, above clinical dose. Glycoside glycerol, above clinical dose. Arginine nitrate, above clinical dose. Agmatine sulfate, above clinical dose. Beetroot nitrate at a clinical dose, and green tea leaf extract at a clinical dose. Guys, this formula is absolutely stacked when it comes to boosting nitric oxide, improving blood flow, and then obviously improving muscle pumps. I mean, we have a quadruple threat happening here. We've got boosting nitric oxide through the arginine pathway, through the arginine nitrate and the citrulline. We've got boosting nitric oxide, boosting muscle pumps really through muscle volume and hyperhydration through the glycerol. We've got boosting nitric oxide through the nitrate nitric oxide pathway through 2 different types of nitrates in there, the arginine and the beetroot nitrate. And then finally, we've got direct vasodilation through the green tea leaf extract, plus agmatine in a massive dose to make sure that the elevated nitric oxide is not immediately broken down by your body to bring it back to a state of homeostasis. I mean, we could finish the video right here, to be honest with you guys, because that is, man, it doesn't get any more impressive on paper when it comes to the pump aspect of a stim-free pre-workout. So we get a massive tick for that effect. Effect number 2. Muscle power. We have a whopping dose of betaine anhydrous in here, 4 full grams. That's considered above a clinical dose, or definitely above an efficacious dose. We have a solid dose of creatine monohydrate in a 3-gram dose, slightly below what we would consider clinical. That would be 5 grams, but you do have the synergism between the betaine anhydrous and the creatine in there. And then the beetroot nitrate in here, which also yields betaine, is going to be a part of the muscle power matrix as well. So we definitely get a tick there for the muscle power. Effect number 3, muscular endurance. We've got a few ingredients here that play into this effect. The first one is right at the top of the panel, which is an electrolyte, potassium, as potassium citrate in a 313 milligram dose. We've then got the glycosides yielding glycerol, which also plays into muscular endurance through the hyperhydration effect. We draw more water into the muscles. We're able to exercise harder for longer. We've then got a full clinical dose of our Peak O2 mushroom extract in there, one of the most proven and efficacious ingredients when it comes to boosting muscular endurance. And then finally, we have an above clinical dose of taurine in there, 2 full grams. So we've got some awesome synergism also happening in the muscular endurance piece. Another tick there. We're at 3 out of 3. Effect number 4. Mental focus and elevation in mood. We've got 2 ingredients that come into play here, viewers. The first one is L-tyrosine in a full 1 gram dose. Tyrosine, obviously, is going to help our elevation in mood and feeling of well-being as a precursor to L-dopa, which in itself is a precursor to dopamine. And then we also have a solid dose, really solid dose actually, of huperzine A from Huperzia serrata. It's standardized to a 1% extract, so we're going to get 100 micrograms of huperzine A. And huperzine A is responsible for blocking the enzyme that breaks down elevated acetylcholine. So when acetylcholine elevates, which helps with mental focus, huperzine A allows that to stay elevated for a longer period of time so that we're really able to dial in. So we get, oh man, it's definitely not complete when it comes to, on paper, this particular effect, but I'd probably go 3/4 to a full tick. So we're at 3 3/3 to 4 out of 4 when it comes to the 4 effects that we look for in complete stimulant-free pre-workout supplements. In terms of what it's missing on paper, I mean, if you want to get really picky here, guys, really picky, you could go, well, you know, we could use a proprietary ingredient in there for muscle power, like an Elevate-ATP, PKTP maybe, one of those kind of cool ingredients in there. Is it really going to make that big of a difference to the muscle power? Probably not, but you could say that something like that is missing. You then could also say, from a muscular endurance perspective, and there is a reason why Hosstile have left this out of this formula, is beta-alanine. Beta-alanine, obviously one of the most proven ingredients alongside PeakO2 for boosting muscular endurance through buffering fatigue toxins, in particular lactic acid and hydrogen ions. The reason why they've left it out is, as you guys know, what comes along with beta-alanine are beta-alanine tingles. And a lot of people don't like that in their pre-workout. It kind of makes you feel a bit itchy, like there's ants crawling all over your back and down your neck and all that sort of shit going on. So they purposely left that out. Once again, would that make a significant improvement to the muscular endurance in addition to all the ingredients we've already got in here for muscular endurance? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The big gap in this formula, if there even is a big gap, considering we already have the huperzine A in there, is some form of choline to boost acetylcholine. So we need to see some alpha GPC. We need to see some citicoline. We need to see at least some choline bitartrate in there, because that's going to allow for the synergism with the huperzine A. You got your form of choline boosting acetylcholine in your brain. That's going to help you get that mental focus, the tunnel vision focus, and then the huperzine A can really go to work by keeping that acetylcholine level elevated so that that focus sticks around for the entirety of your workout. But that's pretty much it. Those ingredients aside, particularly the choline aside, it is a very, very, very stacked stim-free pre-workout formula and very, very difficult to poke holes in. In terms of how it tastes and how it mixes, guys, it comes in 3 flavors. It comes in the strawberry kiwi flavor right here. It comes in a sour peach flavor, and it also comes in a watermelon flavor. Infamous Massive Joe's taste and mixability test about to go down, guys. I have right here my personal tub of the Bloodshot in the strawberry kiwi flavor. The first thing I will point out to you guys before I even get into the taste and mixability test, I want you guys to take a look inside that tub there. As you can see, the powder is pretty clumpy. It's definitely not the worst I've seen, but you are going to get, you know, it probably starts off as a fine powder when the tubs are filled in the factory, and then it starts to clump a little bit, and the longer it kind of sits in your pantry, which it shouldn't, because it's an amazing product, and you're going to want to use it all at once in one workout. Just joking. But it is gonna clump. So you are gonna get you know, a little bit of a clumpy looking powder in there, so to speak. So infamous Massive Joe's taste and mixability test about to go down, guys. I will let you know, the labels say 2 rounded scoops is a full serve. Your rounded scoops, well, each of your rounded scoops needs to weigh about 16 grams. A rounded scoop looks kind of like that. So just a little bit more than a level scoop, and Hosstile have done a great job. Even with the clumping, a rounded scoop that looks like that does weigh pretty much bang on 16 grams. So you don't have to go stupidly heap scoops. You don't have to go under because it's overdosed. They've done a really good job with the scoop size and volume matching the desired scoop weight. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go, the suggested use says take 1 serving, which is 2 rounded scoops, with 12 to 16 fluid ounces of water. So I'm going to do 1 scoop in 6 fluid ounces. So I'm going to go half and half. So we're going to take our rounded scoop here of the Hosstile Bloodshot. I got myself my MJ shaker ready to go with 6 ounces of water. I'm going to drop that in there. Let me have a few flicks of the wrist. I'm going to show you guys how it mixes. And then I'm going to refresh my memory on how the strawberry kiwi tastes. And I say refresh my memory because I trained on it this morning, so I know how it tastes. But for the purposes of raw review, we're going to go super refresh memory. All right, that's enough. I'm going to show you guys this. Before I show you, there's a lot of ingredients in here, as you guys know, 13 ingredients and a massive amount of active ingredients. That being said, it mixes really, really well. I will let you guys know that if I leave this glass here, or even you'll see in the bottom of the shaker, you are going to get some of the active ingredients, probably the glycerol and the creatine. If I had to take a stab at it, that is going to kind of settle towards the bottom. So that being said, and considering the serving size, and considering it's a pre-workout, you're taking it before you train, I'm going to go so far as to say turbo ball is required with this here Hosstile Bloodshot. Let me refresh my memory on how the naturally colored strawberry kiwi tastes, man. Here's the thing with the flavors. The initial flavors across all of them, strawberry, kiwi, watermelon, sour peach, I've tried all 3. The initial flavor is really good. And you kind of go, ooh, ooh, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. The initial flavors are very, very good. There's a lot of aftertaste happening here, guys. There's no real way to kind of sugarcoat it, pun intended. But with that many active ingredients, you are going to have some aftertaste, and it's really, really difficult. I mean, we're dealing with over 25 grams of active ingredients here. Really, really difficult to kind of mask those aftertastes. So when you try the Bloodshot, that's effectively, that's what you're going to experience. Really good initial flavor. And then right there, the aftertaste is going to hit you and you're going to go, that's not really a pleasant experience. That being said, the initial flavors across the 3 flavors are very good. If I have to rank them personally, for me, the strawberry kiwi for me is definitely the best flavor. Then I'd probably go sour peach after that. And then after that, I'm probably putting the watermelon. Watermelon and sour peach are very close to me, but in my personal opinion, the strawberry kiwi is the best of the three flavors. In terms of the effects, man, where do I start with this bloodshot? Let me start with a little story for you guys. So the first few times I trained on this bloodshot, I think I trained on it for like 2 or 3 times. And it was the first shipment that came in. All of us here were super excited. Pretty much everyone in the company picked up a tub of something from the first shipment of Hosstile. And a lot of us went for bloodshot, myself included. And we have a company chat that has every member in the MJ company is in this chat. And there was a chat happening while I was training early one morning. And I wrote in the chat and I said, guys, for those of you who are interested, I'm training shoulders. I'm training shoulders on bloodshot at the moment. And I'm having trouble lifting my hands up to type this message in the team chat. These pumps are ridiculous. And I think that probably story kind of explains how ridiculous the pumps in particular are in this bloodshot. If you are a pump fiend, if you are someone who just can't get enough muscle pump during your workouts, and that is just the effect from your pre-workout that is most important to you, you are going to absolutely love this bloodshot. The pumps are ridiculous. The pumps are by far market leading. I honestly have not used not just a standalone stim-free pre-workout, but any pre-workout or any pump formula that delivers better pumps than this bloodshot. It is the best. There is no question about it. The pumps come on super quick. They come on super heavy, and they stick around for your entire workout. They are ridiculous. This is, in terms of the pump matrix in this bloodshot, the best that I personally have ever seen put together, have ever trained on, have ever personally experienced, ever in the history of supplements, in my personal opinion. So let's just start there. Amazing. In terms of the muscle power, very, very impressive. You feel strong, you feel powerful. There is a significant increase in muscle power when you're training on the bloodshot. You definitely feel that effect. In terms of the endurance, once again, very good. For your longer workouts, for me personally, it's like my back workouts. Sometimes I train chest and back together. My leg workouts, definitely. Those longer workouts, I just feel like I can push and push and push and push, and the muscles just keep doing what I want them to do. So the endurance effect is very, very noticeable. And it is kind of nice from an effects perspective, not to have the beta-alanine tingles to get that endurance, because pretty much every other pre-workout or stim-free pre-workout formula that matches bloodshot 1-for-1 when it comes to endurance comes with beta-alanine, and therefore comes with the beta-alanine tingles. So no tingles, and the endurance is very, very good. When it comes to the nootropic effect, in real gym effect experience, it's definitely something that you will notice lacks in this formula. There is a noticeable increase in elevation in mood. So you feel good, right? You feel good. Your feeling of well-being is elevated. You're just in a good mood training. You definitely get that effect. Where it falls down is the focus. There is a really it's interesting when Huperzine A is used without a source of choline to boost acetylcholine. And I'd be interested in actually understanding how the brain deals with that, because there is really not much effect in mental focus at all, in my personal opinion, on training with this bloodshot. It's definitely, when you compare it to other stim-free pre-workouts that really are nootropic heavy, and you kind of notice you're in the zone, you're feeling really good, you're focused, it's like block out the rest of the world, the workout is the only thing that's going on. Bloodshot really does not have that effect. So in terms of real world effects, the nootropic aspect does leave a little bit to be desired. But across the board, when it comes to the physical aspects, I mean, it's right up there, guys. It is right up there with some of the best stim-free pre-workouts I personally have ever used. And we'll get into a little bit of a comparison in a few minutes' time. In terms of the side effects, really, the one thing that I need to point out for you guys is because of the amount of active ingredients in the BLOODSHOT, it's probably best not to use it on an empty stomach because it may cause you some GI distress. Me personally, I eat before all my workouts, so I'm never training on an empty stomach anyway. But I know a bunch of you do. Probably not going to be the ideal situation with having this many active ingredients in these doses on an empty stomach. I'm not saying it definitely will, but there is potential to cause some gastrointestinal distress. So 2 ways you can deal with that. Firstly, eat before you train, so you're not taking it on an empty stomach. Secondly, increase the amount of water that you're consuming when you're having the BLOODSHOT. I mean, the directions say 12 to 16 fluid ounces of water. I'd probably double that, to be honest. And that's what I do. I have a full MJ shaker, which is, what is a full shaker here? It's like 20, it's about 800 mils, just over 800 mils. So however many fluid ounces that is, it's definitely more than the 16 that is recommended. So I have a full shaker and I really jack up the water just to get more water in and help my body really kind of work through all of the active ingredients in the BLOODSHOT. In terms of stackability, the only ingredient that you really have to be aware of is the agmatine because it is a massive dose of agmatine. It's 1.5 grams. If you go and up towards 2 grams of agmatine, it's pretty much guaranteed upset stomach. There's no way around it. Like it's gonna upset your stomach, guys. So make sure if you are stacking it with a stim-based pre-workout, maybe you go half a scoop of BLOODSHOT to get half the amount of agmatine. Just make sure that if you are consuming agmatine from other sources and you're stacking it with a stim pre-workout or another stim-free pre-workout that has agmatine, that your total consumption of agmatine doesn't go north of really about 1.5 grams, or else you are almost guaranteed to upset your stomach. What does it compare to? Now, this is where it gets interesting. The 2 stim-free complete pre-workouts that I personally think compare best to BLOODSHOT, especially when it goes across the 4 effects that we're kind of talking about, that we've spoken about in this video. On one hand, Axe and Sledge Hydraulic. On the other hand, Core Nutritionals Pump. Let's start with hydraulic. In terms of the pump effect, BLOODSHOT is much better than hydraulic. BLOODSHOT's much better than anything. Let's just get that clear. Much better than hydraulic. In terms of muscle power, BLOODSHOT, once again, is much better than hydraulic. In terms of endurance, BLOODSHOT, slightly better than hydraulic. Not a country mile like pumps and power, but still slightly better in the endurance effect. The elevation in mood and mental focus across both hydraulic and BLOODSHOT are very similar in my personal opinion. They both get the elevation in mood and the increase in feeling of well-being. They both really miss the mark when it comes to mental focus. So a very similar kind of nootropic effect, a very similar gap in both formulas there. In terms of the flavors, the hydraulic flavors are better and there's more of them as well. There's seven at the moment of hydraulic compared to the 3 at the moment in the BLOODSHOT. That being said, hydraulic is 20% cheaper than BLOODSHOT. So it's a little bit better value for money, or value for money, I guess, is in the eye of the beholder. It's cheaper in terms of actual price per tub compared to BLOODSHOT in the Australian marketplace. On the other hand, Core Pump. The pumps in BLOODSHOT, no surprises, are better than the pumps in Core Pump. And that is saying something because up until BLOODSHOT, Core Pump really was the market leader when it came to the pump effect in stim-free pre-workouts. The pumps in BLOODSHOT are better, no questions about it. The power in BLOODSHOT is also better than Core Pump, significantly better. The endurance in BLOODSHOT is not as good as Core Pump. I personally think the endurance effect in Core Pump, especially with the longer workouts, is more pronounced and a better effect in terms of real gym effects in Core Pump than there is in BLOODSHOT. Elevation in mood this is where it gets interesting, in BLOODSHOT is better than Core Pump. You definitely feel better, really, to put it simply, than you do in Core Pump. But the mental focus in Core Pump is much better than the mental focus you experience on BLOODSHOT. So that really comes down to which nootropic effect do you value more in your stim-free pre-workouts. Do you just want to feel good like you're floating on a cloud and everything's all happy and shit? Or do you want the tunnel vision mental focus? If you want the feel good, it's got to be the BLOODSHOT. If you want the tunnel vision mental focus, it's got to be the core pump. In terms of the flavors, I think the core pump flavors are a little better. They definitely don't have the aftertaste effect that you get with BLOODSHOT, primarily because there's not as many active ingredients and the doses are not as high either across all of those active ingredients in core pump, but the flavors in core pump are better. There's the same number of flavors. Core pump has 3, BLOODSHOT has 3. Once again, core pump is 20% cheaper in terms of price per tub than the BLOODSHOT. Who is the BLOODSHOT best for? Is the question that we really want to know here. It goes without saying it's a stim-free pre-workout. So straight away, if you're training at night, perfect. If you want to break from your stimulant-based pre-workout, perfect. If you just like training on stim-free pre-workouts, perfect. When we talk about the effects, BLOODSHOT is going to be best for those of you who, firstly, want a stim-free pre-workout, who really value muscle pumps as a desirable effect, who really value muscle power as an effect, who really value muscular endurance as an effect in your stim-free pre-workout, and who really aren't too concerned about the nootropic side of things, the mental focus in particular. BLOODSHOT is going to get you those physical performance effects to a level that you probably haven't experienced before, but it's not going to be quite there when it comes to nootropic effect. So if the nootropic effect is really quite important to you when it comes to your stim-free pre-workout, BLOODSHOT is probably not going to be the best stim-free for you. But if it's the physical effects you're after and really the muscle pumps, BLOODSHOT is going to completely blow your minds. Last but not least, price and value for money. Guys, there's no other way to say this. At the time of this video, BLOODSHOT is the most expensive stim-free pre-workout price per tub we have ever seen in the Australian marketplace. Granted, we are in an inflationary environment, so perhaps BLOODSHOT's gotten there a little quicker than the other products that it compares to. But at this point in time, it is the most expensive price per tub and price per serve stim-free pre-workout we have ever seen in the Australian marketplace. $99.95 for the 40 scoop 20 serve tub, which means we're talking about $2.50 per scoop and $5 per full 2 scoop serve. It then begs the question, price aside, is it good value for money? Because price is one thing you need to consider. If something is expensive, but it doesn't provide good value, then it's just expensive and it's not great value for money. If something is expensive, but you're paying for top quality, high value, then it can still be expensive but good value for money. Which then begs the question, when you compare it to the other stim-free pre-workouts available on the marketplace, we just took 2 of them, hydraulic and core pump, there's a whole bunch other. When we look at hydraulic and core pump, both of them are 20% cheaper per tub than BLOODSHOT. Is BLOODSHOT 20% or more better than those 2 products? Or is it 20% better than any other stimulant-free pre-workout in the Australian marketplace? In my personal opinion, guys, when it comes to the physical effects, when it comes to muscle pumps, when it comes to muscle power, when it comes to muscular endurance, I personally think that the BLOODSHOT is. As a matter of fact, I personally think when it comes to the physical effects, that BLOODSHOT is the best stim-free pre-workout formula we have seen thus far. It is. There's no other way to put it. And I think that those of you who value those physical performance effects in your stim-free pre-workout are really, really gonna love this BLOODSHOT, and it's gonna deliver you really good value for money, regardless of the high price tag in the Australian marketplace. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on your mobile, your cell phone, your desktop PC, your smart TV, and whatever other device you are watching this video on, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to these raw reviews and everything else we've got happening for you here on the channel. Guys, that is Massive Joe's raw review on Hosstile BLOODSHOT Stim-Free Pre-Workout. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.